Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nick and Justin's Week 1 NFL Picks. That's right, it's the No Punt Intended podcast here on Entertainment Buddha. With me, as always, is the number nerd himself, Mr. Justin Ludwig.
Week 1, still working the kinks out. Yeah, the same guy who keeps buying boxes of Juji fruits, and I'm not even sure I like Juji fruits. I don't know why I keep buying them.
You're just hooked somehow?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was one of those, it was in the dollar bin for candies, and I figured, I've never been down that road before, but now I just keep buying these stupid Juji fruits, and it's like every time, it's like, do I like them? I don't know.
Well, they
Better
must
buy
be
another box.
They must be good if Elaine stopped off for them before she went to the hospital to visit her boyfriend who was in an accident.
Yeah, they must have some sort of clout if they've. I don't know. It's just they keep drawing me in.
Not like candy corn.
Ugh. No. I saw a recipe for you make Rice Krispie treats, but you dye the Rice Krispie treat so it looks like candy corn, and even then I just went. Bleh.
Oh
Not
yeah,
from-
just from the looks of it.
I know, it's off-putting.
Well, if you can get past the look, you can put out a party and people will be like, ew, I'm not going to eat that. And then you'll have the rest left over for yourself.
Yeah, it's like making a cake that looks like cat poop.
Yeah,
Nobody eats it.
you just got to eat it with your eyes closed.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure for the eyes and the ears. Wait,
it is.
And the stomach. Whatever. Two senses, not one.
You know what else is a pleasure? Week 1 is nigh, as they would say.
I can taste the pizza already.
Wings, pizza, beer, whatever your choice is. We have a bunch of games this week. In fact, every team is playing this week because it's week 1 and that's what they do. I don't know if you're aware of that, Justin, but week 1, everybody plays.
Trial by fire.
Exactly. So yeah, we're going to do what we did all of last season.
We always do.
What we always do, as is tradition. We run through each game each week and make picks based upon the spread. Now, Justin, where did we get the spreads from?
I got these spreads as they were current when I sent them to you on ESPN.
Okay. All right, and
there are other avenues.
It is Tuesday night before the first games are played of the regular season. So just to give you some reference of when we're recording this here. So I feel ready. You ready? You ready to get down to business?
Let's light this candle.
All right. First up.
Speaking of candles. No, speaking of pizza, that's the one. I already planned it. Like last week I thought, oh boy, Steelers on Thursday. That's a good pizza night.
What about a Permanis night? It just seems logical.
My local comic store is near Permanis, so it's like I don't want to go out there again.
I got you. You'll be out there Wednesday for New Comic Day, so
once and done.
Right. All right. So it's Pittsburgh at New England with Tom Brady, without LeGarrette Blount. New England's the favorite at -7. Who you take?
I'd say Papa John's if they have a coupon.
Is Papa John's New England or Pittsburgh in this scenario?
Maybe go somewhere local. No, what? Oh, I thought you meant pizza.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just keep that in the background. I don't know, because Tom Brady's just going to be PO'd.
Yep, and the Pittsburgh defense is not very good.
It's porous, as some would say.
Their offense should be very good, even though they are missing Le'Veon Bell the first couple games. But can they keep it within 7 at New England?
I don't know. How about that over under though? The over under is 52. I mean that's.
I certainly know what I would go with in that. But let's go with the spread first. What's your pick on the spread?
Some shortbread cookies on that.
We'll see.
Well, here's the wrinkle.
Mm-hmm.
The last 5 times that these two teams have met, they've gone back and forth in terms of who's won.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous meeting was 2013, and New England won that one. So if pattern continues, one would assume that Pittsburgh would win, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I'm going with New England, but
all right,
I'm just saying.
I see what you're saying, and you're always on the lookout for those patterns. That's for sure.
If tradition marches forth, then Pittsburgh should at least win the game.
Mm-hmm. I am gonna go New England as well. I think Tom Brady's too pissed off the NFL, and they're going to try and put up 60 points a game. And they might be able to against Pittsburgh's defense.
Am I an idiot because I got super excited when Reggie Wayne signed with New England? Was that like doomed? Was that a doomed experiment or what? Like, I ran to the computer to get him on my fantasy team because, oh my god, he's going to be Tom Brady. He can't lose.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it would be a good matchup, but apparently he wasn't having fun in New England. So
that's his criteria. He's not having fun.
That's what he said. It was he asked.
I hate making money and being on a good team.
He asked for his release, and I thought, well, he played in the AFC with the Colts for his whole career. Shouldn't he have known that he was going to Bill Belichick, who probably is like one of the least fun coaches in the NFL?
It's not like he's on the Browns.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, Titans. he asked for his release, and they granted it, and that's that.
I don't want to be on a good team. You don't want to be on a good team. You don't want to be on the team that just won the Super Bowl and has the quarterback that's going to be PO'd and just going to,
You don't want to play with Rob Gronkowski and
it's going to steamroll the whole league. I don't know.
It's hit or miss. I don't know. I don't know what his thinking was, but
well,
I would think as many seasons in the NFL as he's had that he would realize it's not all fun and games.
I was so excited. But
yeah.
Speaking of, did you know that this will be the first time in NFL history that in Week 1, 2 starting quarterbacks are facing off each other and they've won multiple Super Bowls?
I did not know that.
I thought that would have been something we've checked off already, but
apparently
we
not.
didn't. But we didn't.
There you go. Something new. Something learned. All right, so we're both taking New England. Now, how about that over? 52 points. I'm definitely taking the over on that.
I'd put some shortbread cookies on that one.
Yeah. I mean, New England might score 52 by themselves.
That's true. Because you know what they did last time? They scored 55.
There you go.
It was 86 total points back in that brisk November 3rd, 2013 meeting in New England.
Oh, November 3rd. Huh.
I don't know if it was brisk or anything.
That's a special day for a certain co-host of the No Punt Intended podcast. Just saying. Just saying. Don't worry about it. So we both take the over if we were doing the over under.
Mark it down on my calendar.
All right. Yeah. All right. I think I feel like that's stupid easy. So that makes me wonder if we should do that.
Trap game.
All right, let's not think about it too much. How about the next one?
Whoa. Favorite Thursday night game. What is your favorite Thursday night game?
Favorite Thursday night game? It's tough, but it's got to be Pittsburgh, New England, I guess, if I have to pick one.
Do they have anything scheduled for this, like special entertainers or anything? Or am I making way too much out of the first game?
I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be beyond the NFL to put something on at halftime or prior.
Maybe Roger Goodell says mea culpa,
it could be
something special. Maybe gift bags for everyone. Maybe a nice comfy,
some coupons to some bar or restaurant up in New England that I don't know anything about.
Maybe a nice bathrobe.
Ooh, terry cloth?
Of course. Ooh. Only the finest.
Yeah.
Says Roger Goodell.
Goodell's going to have to do something to pick up all the mess he's made as commissioner.
Here you go, guys. All the candy corn you can eat.
Everyone boos him yet again. He's just sitting in a pile of candy corn crying to himself. That's what I envision.
Well, if you like candy corn, please write in to Nick Hershey, care of No Punt Intended Podcast, P.O. Box.
Use hashtag #AskNoPunt.
Okay, there you go. That's better.
All right.
I was going to try and make up a P.O. Box, but you thought quicker than I did.
All right.
Speaking of thinking quicker than I did, as we transition to the Sunday games, yeoman's work.
Yes. Sunday.
We soldier on to Soldier Field. Packers at the Bears, and the Packers are favorites by 7.
Packers are favored by 7.
It's a crisp 71 degrees and sunny forecasted for Chicago.
I'm gonna have to go Green Bay at -7. I just don't see too much going on with the Bears.
Well, they've got Forte,
They do.
but is a good game in his Forte.
Alshon Jeffrey is questionable, I believe. I don't know if
Really?
he's 100% for week 1.
That's a bummer. They do have
As of yesterday, which was Monday, Labor Day, he was still not practicing.
why can't I remember this?
Why
They
are you
just
trying
got
to remember?
the Bears just got somebody. I don't remember who it was.
They signed Eddie Royal.
That's the one. Deep threat. Eddie Royal, good for 2 catches.
Yeah, and they have Marquez Wilson, who's they're hoping steps up this year, but yeah, it's really Wilson and Eddie Royal because chances are, I don't know. The Bears are saying they're hopeful Alshon Jeffrey will play on Sunday. So if he plays, it's definitely a different ball game. But even if he does play, I don't know if I see them keeping the Packers within 7.
No, it's going to be even tougher because the Bears were 23rd in points scored and 31st in points allowed last year. So,
And they didn't do a whole lot to get better.
no, they got worse. They got worser, one would say.
More worser?
Yeah.
Okay.
More worse.
How about the over-under of 49.5?
That's tough only because you're assuming that Chicago's going to do well. And if they, put a turd in someone's pasta, then you're over under sunk.
Right. We didn't do over-unders last year, did we?
No, I just felt like
No, I'm perfectly fine throwing those in. I mean, I think
information's there.
Yeah, I figured we may have touched on it here or there as a side topic, but I like it. I like the spreads and I like the over/under picks. So that's
Every once in a while.
good job by you on that. So what would you take the over or the under on that game?
I'd say under.
Yeah.
Only because Jordy Nelson's out. You don't know how well that they're passing Green Bay. I'm talking about how well that their passing scheme's going to gel the first week.
That's
I
true.
mean, they do have Cobb.
Right. Yeah, they still have Randall Cobb. They have
And James Jones.
Yeah, they just recently re-signed James Jones. I mean, it's hard to say how quickly he'll fit in, but he did play for him before, so I don't think a whole lot has changed other than they got a better running back since he was there. But yeah, I don't know. That 49.5's tough. I'd probably go the under on that as well.
Yeah, it's just you're gambling too much on.
I feel like
on
it's
the Bears putting up points as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's too one-sided on Green Bay, and I don't know if maybe they'll put up 50 points, but I would take the under on that one.
Well, last year Green Bay put up 55 in one game by themselves, so I don't think they're good.
Against who? Do you know?
Chicago.
Why'd you tell me that?
Make it interesting.
I know. I'll still take the under.
All right, you're locked into that?
I said it. It's recorded.
Idiot.
You took the under as well.
I know. But I just like, heckling you for decisions you've made.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether I've made the same decision.
All right, let's see if we can break up the sameness here on the next one. Kansas City at Houston. Push. Or even, however you want to look at the spread.
Yeah.
So this is just a straight up pick 'em win.
So they're not giving Houston the benefit of 3 points for the home? That's kind of weird.
Apparently that's enough to make it even.
I don't know. Well, I guess because Arian Foster's not there.
Right. Arian Foster's not there. Brian Hoyer's the quarterback. Andre Johnson, he was always a threat, but he's gone. So it's basically DeAndre Hopkins and Alfred Blues starting at running back. So granted, Houston's defense is still really good because it's J.J. Watt, but
Well, sure, but doesn't mean they're going to score any points.
right. Well, they might. J.J. Watt scores like 3 touchdowns a game, it seems
That's
like.
true. That's true.
KC has Jeremy Maclin, so maybe a receiver will get a touchdown this year. Who knows?
What's the streak? Is it just 16 games, or
Well,
does it extend back?
I think it extended back to the 2013 season, if I remember correctly. Let me see if I can pull that up here. But
The fans in Kansas should have one of those little signs that say like number of days since like they have in like workplaces that say number of days since the last accident. They should have one that says number of days since the last time a wide receiver or anybody's caught a touchdown pass. I guess wide receiver.
So the last touchdown caught by a wide receiver was 2000 was on December 8th of 2013. December 8th of 2013. So that was week 14 of the 2013 season. So they've gone 18 regular season games without a wide receiver scoring a touchdown.
Couple of shrugs from them, I guess.
But now, like I said, they no longer have Dwayne Bowe. He's in Cleveland, I believe. And they do have Jeremy Maclin, who had a very good season for the Eagles last year. He's reuniting with Andy Reid. Do they break the streak this game? Maybe. Maybe we should have a wager on that. How many games in the season do the Chiefs go before a wide receiver scores a touchdown? Because I think the streak breaks this year. I think it has to.
I want to say there's money on that somewhere. We'll keep riffing. I took Kansas.
Okay.
I think the Arian Foster not being there is going to hurt a little too much. Houston's not going to have as many options.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to take Kansas City as well. I mean, granted, we've really only seen Brian Hoyer in Cleveland, which may or may not say much about his ability, but I'd like to see what he does first before I start picking Houston to win some games. Kansas City's got a solid defense too. Obviously not as good as Houston's, but I don't know if J.J. Watt's enough for Houston to win a game on his own.
No. Yeah, I don't see anything for any odds or anything on Kansas City, which is a shame because that would have been fun.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to Sunday.
Well, let's just make something up here. What do you think they go? Do you think they go 4 games into the season without a wide receiver touchdown?
How many games will it take?
I'll give you a line of 3.5 games over under.
I feel like it's going to happen early, and then it's just not going to happen again.
Like they'll get 1, and then they'll go the rest of the season without it.
Yeah, something silly real quick, and then after that, they're just not even going to worry about it.
What if the first play of the game for the Chiefs on offense is like a 65-yard touchdown to Jeremy Maclin?
Good for them. That'd be I don't know.
All right, so you're with me in thinking that it'll happen early in the season.
Yeah.
All right. I can get behind that. How about the over under 41?
41 points. It's hard to say over, only because Houston again, their injuries are hurting them, and Kansas, doesn't have a great passing game. Plus, it's like when is Jamal Charles finally going to break down?
Yeah, I was going to say they do have Jamal Charles, and that might be all they need. I don't know. That over under is always tough, especially with two teams like Kansas City and Houston.
Yeah. And a tough defense with Houston.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the over on that game.
That's interesting. You could tease that down.
Yeah. If
you teased it down, I'd be interested. But
yeah.
I'd say under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think each team scores in the 20s.
Regular under, tease over. That's what I'd say. But what do I know?
The rules according to Justin.
Yep. That's a short book.
Well, you just add to it as you go along.
It's like a haiku.
Yeah.
Wait, regular down, tease up. Why do I keep buying Juji fruits?
The
I
old
need 3 more words.
The old mythical proverb of Justin Ludwig.
Screw candy corn. Done. 14 words.
Whew, that was easy.
I know. That was easy.
Now you can write a haiku book about your rules.
I just wrote one haiku in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
500 seconds, I could write 100 of them.
Garth made a haiku in Wayne's World and didn't even realize it. So, I mean, you just sometimes spit stuff out, and next thing you know, publishing contract.
Is that a haiku itself? I don't know.
I wasn't counting.
I'm not going to get bogged down. We'll save that for the haiku podcast.
We'll check back for the recording after this goes up.
Yeah, we'll get the intern on this.
First of all, we need an intern.
If you would like to apply for an internship, please write to Nick Hershey, care of No Punt Intended Podcast, P.O. Box 1234.
Or use hashtag #AskNoPunt.
Yeah, that's easier.
First submission for our internship gets a Larry Bird 1981 Topps card.
No.
Well, if they're going to intern for us, they deserve that card.
No, I've held on to it for this long. It's got to be something special.
All right.
Something special, which is not the Browns at the Jets with the Jets favored by 3. I'm gonna double check, but this might be the poopiest 1 o'clock.
I was gonna say, you know how I usually talk about the game I hope is on the farthest screen where I watch it? That's kind of where I'm hoping this game is.
Oh, what about Carolina Jacksonville?
I'd rather watch that than Cleveland, New York.
Really?
Yes. And I almost spilled my water, so you'll have to. My hands got a little excited when we were talking about poopy games. So
poopy games.
Yeah.
The game behind the pillar.
Yeah, that's the one.
For those who don't know, for those who are just joining us for this season, where Nick usually watches games, there's a TV that's situated behind a pillar. Do you guys usually sit in the same spot, or is it just like oddly placed behind a pillar?
Usually, it's roughly the same spot.
Okay, so the way from your vantage point, there is a television that is situated behind a pillar, in which we usually remark which game we would least like to see, and we call that sort of,
the pillar game.
The pillar game. The game
Yes.
we would like to have behind the pillar so we don't have to worry about it.
Yes. The game where I have presumably 0 fantasy players and the least amount of gambling interest.
No stakes.
No stakes at all.
0 stakes. It is the vegan game because there are no stakes.
Let's start calling it the vegan game. I like that.
Game.
The vegan game. All right.
Well, this is probably a good candidate for said vegan game.
Yes. Yeah.
Who's the starting quarterback for Cleveland?
Johnny Manziel.
Really?
No, I'm sorry. Josh McCown. Josh McCown, okay. I believe, is the starter.
I was going to say, I thought they would have made a bigger deal out of it.
No, it's not. I mean, I'm sure it will be at some point in the season, but
sure.
They brought in Josh McCown, who played for Tampa last year, who was a 2-win team, and are starting him over Johnny Manziel, their first-round draft pick.
He'll get his time.
Yeah. I'm gonna take New York. Just because I think they have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's not a great quarterback, but between him and McCown, I would take. They have Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker still. I mean, they usually have a pretty solid running game for the most part, and I think Chris Ivory will kind of help them out there. So I think the Jets win by at least 4 points.
It's hard to not have at least some mediocre faith in Fitzpatrick. It's not like he's terrible.
Right. Exactly. And that's why, like, when it comes down between the two teams, I think that's the biggest reason why I picked the Jets.
That's the X factor.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, perfect score on the Wonderlic Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's is he Harvard or Yale? I forget which one.
I think it was Harvard.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's smart.
He's smart.
But yeah, the Jets have Todd Bowles as the new head coach, and I think his defense is going to be pretty decent this year. I don't think they'll be super great, but I just don't see Cleveland being able to keep it close.
To date, Ryan Fitzpatrick has the highest Wonderlic score test ever achieved among NFL quarterbacks.
Interesting.
That's what you get when you go to Harvard.
Who are you taking?
Jets.
Jets.
They've got more offensive firepower, even though it's not a lot. It's like comparing matches to Flint when you have lighters and flamethrowers.
That's good. That's true.
One beats the other, but it's still not,
Yeah. If you
there's
had
better.
if you had to choose between, the bottom two and those were your only options, like that's what you're gonna get. Yeah. I mean I'm in the same boat with you. I just think New York just has better playmakers.
Better
for 'em.
playmakers.
Even though
Speaking of playmakers, one of the next two teams is rife with them.
Whoa.
What?
Are we gonna do the over under, or are we just skipping that?
Under.
Under 40?
Two anemic teams, you think they're going to score 20 points each?
No, but that's when they each score like 30 then.
No, they don't have the ability to do that. Or the last
Yeah, you're right. I'm taking the under as well.
Last meeting,
it's gonna be like a 15-10 game or 13-10 or something like that.
let's see.
It's gonna be a kicker's duel.
3 of the last 5 failed to reach 40 points. The highest of them being 46.
All right. Yeah, let's
Of
go.
the last 5 meetings.
Let's go under. Now you may
Under.
proceed with the next
Okay.
that you were so excited about.
No, I lost my train of thought. No, I didn't. Indianapolis at Buffalo. The line is 2.5.
In favor of Indy on the
In
road.
favor of Indy on the road.
Give me Indy. Give me Indy.
Been higher. I know it should have been higher.
Well, I think the only thing keeping it there is the Bills' defense is pretty solid.
Who does Buffalo have on offense?
Well,
they have LaShawn, but is he good to go?
Right. But I think the only reason that Indy isn't higher than -2.5 on the road is because the Bills' defense is solid and might cause some problems. Not so much that the Bills' offense is going to keep the game close, because I don't really see that happening. Tyrod Taylor, I mean, nobody really knows what they're going to get out of him. Like you said, LaShawn McCoy might not be playing week 1 if he's not 100%. Sammy Watkins is a great receiver, but again, he's got Tyrod Taylor, an unproven quarterback throwing to him. So it's going to be interesting for Buffalo. But I don't see them keeping it within 3 with Indy. I just don't see it.
Who's the second running back for Buffalo?
Well, they still have Boobie Dixon.
That's it, Dixon. Isn't he the backup?
Well, they also have
they lost Spiller and Jackson.
They have Bryce Brown.
Yeah.
So 2 former Eagles now running backs on the Bills.
Is this like?
I'm sorry. They have Brown is actually listed as the 4th running back. Boobie Dixon's the 2nd, and they have Carlos Williams listed as the 3rd, I believe, according to ESPN, which, as we were discussing before we started recording, may not be entirely accurate on their updates with releases. So
It's not.
At
least not with their depth chart.
Yeah. So we might be providing false information.
Whoa.
I mean, according to ESPN.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. Just, blame ESPN for their untimely updates.
Yeah, come on, ESPN. But yeah, anyway, McCoy's the lead back. Boobie Dixon's, according to ESPN, the backup. And I don't think their offensive line is very good. And Tyrod Taylor, as a young quarterback, is going to need time to throw the ball, and I just don't know if he'll be getting that time.
Yeah, that quarterback situation seems like a log jam.
Yeah, it's going back to the Bobby Hoyer, Ryan Fitzpatrick thing. It's like, well, the Bills have Tyrod Taylor or E.J. Manuel. Is one really better than the other? Maybe by a little bit, but neither of them are Andrew Luck.
Well, there was a time, I don't know if the depth chart or the rosters were right. There was a time where they had, I think, 5 quarterbacks listed, and each of the 5 was, a perfectly reasonable mediocre choice. I forget who it was. Wasn't it like Kevin Cobb?
Yeah, they had Kevin Cobb at
Orton.
one point. They had this year anyway, at one point they had I believe Matt Castle and was it Matt Flynn? Is he the other one?
Castle, Manuel, Taylor.
I thought they had Matt Flynn at one point before releasing him, but I could be mistaken. Nope, sorry, that was the Jets. The Jets released Matt Flynn. That's who I'm thinking of. But we're past that game, so we can't talk about that. Yeah, I mean, do they? I presume they've probably already tried calling Kyle Orton to get him out of retirement again, but so far nothing.
They should sign Reggie Wayne
As quarterback?
No, just bring him over.
Maybe
he's quarterback. Who knows? Who cares?
Just for this game, sign Reggie Wayne.
1 game contract
against Indiana, his old team.
Just it's like Bill Murray in Space Jam. He only had a 1 game contract. That's all he needed.
Yeah, exactly. And it just adds some more icing on the cake that's against Indy.
That's true. That's true.
So we're both taking Indianapolis.
I didn't think about that part. Yeah.
How about that over-under of 46?
Ooh.
See, this is a game where I see, like Green Bay, I see the Colts scoring all the points and the Bills maybe a touchdown or a couple field goals.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to be enough to hit that 46.
Yeah,
like it might be a 28-3 or a 28-6 kind of game.
Yeah, I'd say under.
I'm going to go under as well.
At Buffalo, what's the
Well, it's not going to be snowing.
What's the meteorological forecast? That's what I struggle to say. 69 degrees and rainy. 67 and rainy.
Okay.
That's not prime football conditions, nor prime throwing conditions. So I stand by my choice.
Yeah, I'll take the under as well.
I don't have a segue for the next game.
Unders all around. Speaking of under, this game is under the... No, it's not. I don't know.
No.
I don't know where I was going with that. Miami at the Washington Professional Football Team. Miami, it's -4 on the road.
I'm kind of curious to watch Miami. I am kind of curious to not watch the Washington Professional Football Team because I've lost all stake in their progress. I don't care. I'm
kind of the same way. I'm interested in seeing how Tannehill and Miami progress after a very solid season last year.
Yep.
I'm kind of interested in Washington only as like an ironic, like how bad are they going to be? Like what's Dan Snyder, like what has to happen to his team for Dan Snyder to make changes or do something better? But I'm going to go Miami.
That's very hipster of you to ironically want to watch Washington.
I'm watching it ironically, so
I'm only watching this game ironically.
I'm wearing this RG3 jersey as an ironic statement. But no, he is not starting. It will be Kirk Cousins tossing the pigskin around. I don't know. Miami's defense got beefed up with Ndamukong Suh. I think they're just going to get too much pressure on Washington for them to really do anything.
Yep.
Case
closed.
All right, Miami for the two of us. How about that over/under of 43.5?
Under.
Yeah, I'm going to go with under as well.
It's 1.5 anemic offenses. Offenses.
Offensi.
Offenses. I
don't know.
Offensa. I don't know. This is Latin? Who knows?
All right.
Well, you know the answer to that, write to Nick Hershey, care of the No Punt Intended podcast.
Or on Twitter.
Or use the Ask No Punt hashtag.
There you go.
I forgot to put that up today.
I put something up.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I had to make a cookie run.
Yeah. Yeah, you had more important things to do, so it's okay. All right, so both taking Miami, both taking the under. This next game, it's a semi-vegan game.
Vegan light.
It's
like you're eating fish.
It's vegetarians who eat fish.
It's like
yeah.
It's like fish and eggs.
Yeah.
I'm not really vegan about it.
Carolina at Jacksonville. Another on the road team. Carolina is -3.
It's more like I have to remember who's on these teams.
Well, Carolina has Cam Newton, but they are without Kelvin Benjamin, which is
That
a
hurts.
big. Yeah, that definitely hurts. They have Fozzie Whitaker, who is a personal favorite of both you and I.
Mm-hmm. Not ironically.
Not ironically, no, in the sincerest naming sense.
But they still have Blake Bortles on Jacksonville.
They do, but they beefed up their offensive line a little bit, so he shouldn't get sacked 50 times like he did last year.
That's a big shouldn't.
Well, that's why I threw that in there. I don't know what to make of Carolina. It's tough. Jonathan Stewart's a starting running back as D'Angelo Williams is now in Pittsburgh. Cam Newton is so up and down. You never know what he's going to do.
Well, it's more like who's he going to throw to?
Right. I mean, they have Devin Funchess is, kind of their third string guy. I mean, their biggest weapon offensively is probably their tight end Greg Olsen. I mean, they don't.
That doesn't help.
Yeah. I just don't know, like you said, who he's going to throw to besides Greg Olsen.
Well, maybe Cam will do it all himself. It's not like he hasn't done that before.
Well, it's true. I mean, he has Ted Ginn Jr. at wide receiver, who is still speedy for sure. Don't know how, he's going to be catching. So he always had kind of some issues with that, but he was always a good kick returner, always, a speedy guy. So he could be a deep threat. And then they have Corey Brown is their number 2 receiver, who actually goes by his nickname Philly Brown, because he's from the Philadelphia area.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's funnier when your nickname is a city that you have no affiliation with.
Should we call him Wilmington Brown or
He's Philly Brown from Portland, Oregon.
Well, he's from
Philly Brown from Biloxi, Mississippi.
He's from Upper Darby.
Yeah. That's
Which
not as funny.
I guess is close enough to Philly to be called Philly, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like Jacksonville could actually win this game.
It's like Meta World Peace. He's from Mars.
The planet of war.
No, I don't think he will. Did you know that the all-time series is 3-2 in favor of Jacksonville? They've only played 5 times in their whole existence.
Well, Jacksonville's only been around since '98. Same with Carolina.
Same with Carolina. I know. That's the asterisk, but still.
Yeah, and they're AFC, NFC, so obviously, they only
NFC.
play 16 games a year. 8 of those games, yeah, they're playing the other division. They're in division.
Every 4 years.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. It's like leap year.
Ooh.
Yeah. Didn't think about that, did you?
Oh, crap. Jacksonville's playing Carolina. It must be next year's a leap year. 366 days.
They should make leap year a holiday. So, every 4 years, we just, happy leap year. And then we just, people go out and get hammered like they do Cinco de Mayo. I mean, think about it. It's in February, especially if you're in, the north where it gets cold and dreary. Why would you not have a day in February once every 4 years? It's not every year. To just go out and have some fun and not work.
Well, plus it's one of those things that everybody makes plans for February 28th and then March 1st, and then it's, oh, right, there's February 29th. I didn't make plans.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to stay in and watch Mr. Robot and eat shortbread cookies all day and drink Dr. Thunder.
I mean, who wouldn't want that?
I know.
All right.
We'll have to plan that for the next leap year, which is next year because Carolina's playing Jacksonville, so...
Did you
look? The lemma goes.
Did you look that up? Is that accurate?
Well, I mean, they played each other every 4 years.
Well, right, but does it coincide with the actual leap year?
Well, it's the next calendar year.
Yeah.
So they played in 2011 last, and 2012 was the leap year.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, the next one is 2016.
It's more like a primer.
They're playing. As confirmed on Wikipedia.
Nobody can see it because it's radio, but I'm rubbing my hands together in anticipation. Here comes the leap year, rubbing hands together.
I picture it like Mr. Burns. Just
exactly.
Yeah.
Who did you take? Carolina.
I'm taking Jacksonville.
Whoa, That's a gamble.
I don't know. Is it a gamble? Is that why we're doing this?
What are we here? Thanks for that existential moment. My head just exploded.
Like you said, I just don't know where Carolina's strength on offense is going to come from. I mean,
know where their strength is going to come from? The end of the game. Oh, we don't have to do anything anymore.
I don't know. I think Jacksonville is going to be better than they were last year, and I think this is a game they can win or at least keep close. So
Jacksonville will regress from their 3-13 performance last year.
Yeah, they'll regress towards the positive.
Well, you can't go down. Well, you could, but
yeah, they could go down.
And the under. Here's why.
You're taking the under?
The last time these two teams met, 16-10.
Well, that was 4 years ago.
That was last leap year.
I'm gonna take the over. I don't think either has a great enough defense to really hold the other. Especially 41's not a very high scoring game.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah,
I'm gonna trust.
I'm taking Jacksonville. I'm taking the over.
All right.
Mark it down before I change my mind. All right, good.
It's in.
Good.
I don't know. Type.
It's in font.
It's in font. It's in Excel.
It's chiseled in Excel. Next game. Battle of the S's. Seattle at St. Louis. Seattle's -4.5 on the road. Another on the road favorite.
Next game. You turn the page. You wash your hands.
Exactly.
Only 4.5, huh?
They are on the road, and it is week 1, so I think they're kind of being a little conservative, perhaps.
I guess.
Well, you think about it. If this were, let's see, if it were a home game, it would be 7.5 in favor of Seattle.
Yeah.
If you figure that 3 for home field advantage that they so often use.
It's more like Seattle's too tough. Defense is too tough. Mm-hmm. What's St. Louis going to do? It's Nick Foles. It's Nick Foles' chance at proving himself against a tough defense.
Right. And it's going to be tough because he doesn't really have anyone to throw to.
Exactly.
If you haven't figured it out, I'm taking Seattle.
Oh. You were foreshadowing that. I see what you were doing.
Yeah. St. Louis's defense is going to be pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to hold off Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson and all their weapons.
All their weapons?
Well, I mean, those two are the big ones, but Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett are going to be fantastic receivers this year. I mean, Rams have Kenny Britt, who's, a solid receiver. They have Tavon Austin, who's fast, but he hasn't really blossomed like many were expecting since he was drafted from West Virginia. Todd Gurley is out for week 1, their first round running back pick, so they're going to be with Trey Mason as their starter, who's not terrible, but the offensive line for St. Louis is pretty bad.
Well, lest you also forget that Seattle signed Jimmy Graham, so
right. Oh yeah, like I said, he's one of the other weapons.
Other weapons.
I just didn't have time to name everybody. I mean, come on.
We only have so long to talk about all these games and name everybody.
Exactly. So yeah, I just think Seattle's too tough. So I think even though the Rams did beat them last year, am I correct? Wasn't that in Seattle or was that in St. Louis?
If only there was some repository of information. Yes, they did. In St. Louis, 28-26.
But I don't think that's something they'll be able to repeat in St. Louis.
Who knows? Maybe Seattle will throw the ball at the 1-yard line again.
Well, you better hope not. You picked them for the Super Bowl, so that would be a terrible way to start.
Before.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but how many? I was just going to ask how many Super Bowl winning teams have started off the season at 0-1? I'm sure some. If you know the answer, make sure to use the hashtag #AskNoPunt, and you can win a Larry Bird 1981-82 Topps card.
There's
your challenge. There's your challenge for the week.
And you must list them all in 140 characters or less. because that's how Twitter works.
Yeah, but, yeah. If anybody responds with the correct answer, you win the Larry Bird card.
Anybody, just anybody.
Anybody.
I'm gonna create a fake Twitter account just so I can win the Larry Bird card. And I'll take a picture of me with it and be like, "Gotcha."
And my name will be Philly Brown from Arkansas.
Pittsburgh.
Now then, I know it's a fake.
Yeah. All right.
Wait
so
a minute.
We're both taking Seattle, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Over
as well. Yeah. I'll take the over 41 on that.
Over. Yeah. It's gonna. Yeah. If it were Seattle, I'd flip floppy.
Yeah. Since
it's not, I'm flippy floppy on flippy floppy.
Actually, I'm thinking here.
Oh, no.
Did you already type it in?
Well, no, but
so it's not locked in.
No.
I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
I'm gonna go under 41 because I think these two defenses are good enough to kind of hold each other. I think Seattle wins, but I think St. Louis's defense is going to be able to kind of hold them from going crazy on the scoreboard.
I just asked all the bobbleheads if you're crazy for taking the under. They said yes. They nodded yes.
Well, I guess we'll find out on Sunday at 1 p.m.
Does that wrap it up for...
That wraps up the 1 p.m.s. So your favorite 1 p.m. Sunday game?
I think... Oh, boy.
Or in the opposite form of vegan, your steak, your surf and turf.
My steak, my filet. Ooh, surf and turf. Yep,
your surf and turf game of the morning, or of the 1 o'clock.
I would say that probably the most interesting will be Indianapolis Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Because you just want to see what Indianapolis can do.
Well, there's that. I want to see if they're legit or if it's one of these cases of the overhype. Too many weapons.
Yeah.
Too many weapons on one team. A lot of the other games, there's not a lot that both teams are fighting for. I mean, Buffalo, it's kind of one of those, they're just jockeying for, middle of the road, but it's kind of like, is Indy legit? Everybody else, we kind of already know where they're at.
Yeah.
They might have added one extra piece, so it's not like they've got a lot extra going for them. But Indianapolis, it's more like they have to poop. They either have to poop or get off the pot because they need to make a playoff run sooner or later.
Very true. No, I understand that. I think for me the most intriguing game is the Seattle St. Louis game. I'm interested to see what those defenses do against each other. Obviously, Seattle has more weapons offensively, like we just discussed, but I think that St. Louis defense is going to be pretty solid this year, and I'd like to see what they can do against a tough, Super Bowl favorite like Seattle.
A Super Bowl favorite.
Mm-hmm. And I think we can both agree that the Cleveland, New York is the vegan game of the week.
That's the vegan game.
Or at least of the 1 o'clock.
Close second was Miami, Washington.
Yeah.
No fault of Miami's. So don't hang your head.
That's just how the schedule crumbles.
That's just how it works.
Yeah. All right, shall we move on to the 4 o'clocks?
Well, there's nowhere to go but there.
Well, we could jump ahead to Monday night and then go back to... All right.
It's not chronological.
All right. New Orleans at Arizona. Arizona's -1.
That's anachronistic of you. I said New Orleans. Because I don't feel like they're ready to roll over yet.
Yeah.
I feel like they're ready to regress back to their division leading tactics.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with New Orleans as well. I'm hopeful that Drew Brees still has some gas left in the tank. I think.
Oh yeah, doesn't hurt that they also signed some pretty capable running backs, which will help spread the workload.
Yeah, I mean obviously Mark Ingram's their number one, but they signed C.J. Spiller that'll kind of help open up the field and provide some explosiveness for sure. I just think it's also going to be a breakout year for Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. I think he's going to, Yeah, they're missing Jimmy Graham, but I don't know. I think Cooks will be able to step up this year and kind of take a hefty workload.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's not like without Jimmy Graham in the years before Jimmy Graham that New Orleans, didn't succeed without Jimmy Graham.
right? But he certainly helped.
Sure.
Yeah. Except, I mean, last year it was not such a good year. But I don't know. I don't really see Arizona being too much of a contender this year. I don't know. I think New Orleans can win that game.
You think their 11-5 record last year is a bit hollow?
A bit. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost one of their better defensive players in Darnell Dockett. Unless Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu can kind of step up this year, which I think they could. Then their secondary is going to be pretty solid. But I mean, Carson Palmer's an injury hazard. He's 35 years old, I think. Not that Drew Brees is a spring chicken, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling the Cardinals this year. So that's that.
Glad we finally agreed.
We need finally. We've been agreeing like 90% of the time.
I know.
All right. How about the over under 48?
Under.
It
takes two teams to make this over under.
Mm-hmm.
Like Arizona's, I don't think they're going to complement the workload for this.
I'm going to take the over.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be a fairly high scoring game.
A fairly high scoring game from the team that scored the 24th least amount of points last year, Arizona.
Yes.
Last time they met 2 years ago was 31-7 in favor of New Orleans.
Well, that was then.
Okay. Fair.
No,
fair.
I think New Orleans wins the game, but I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a fairly high scoring affair.
High scoring
affair. How about this next one? Detroit at San Diego Superchargers. San Diego's minus 2.5.
It's kind of a weird line.
But what do you pick?
So says this guy. I said Detroit.
Go on.
Detroit is still...
Gut instinct?
Well, largely. But Detroit is still a pretty good team, coupled with the fact that the Chargers are without Antonio Gates for a while.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Who is a major weapon for them.
Yes.
Now, San Diego's also relying on a tandem of quarterbacks or running backs that I'm not sure are,
right. Yeah, they're
at that level.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon's going to be their workhorse. Whether or not he can live up to their expectations is another thing. But I'm not completely sold on Detroit, though. I mean, they have obviously weapons at wide receiver with Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate. Their running game's questionable. Their defense, they did not do a whole lot to replace Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh on that line. They brought in Haloti Ngata from Baltimore, which isn't bad, but he's neither of those guys. I don't know. This is tough. I think I'm going to go with San Diego on this one.
Well, for Detroit, it's always been more of a tandem running attack. They've never really had somebody that they have as a feature back, and plus they still have...
You mean since Barry Sanders?
Well, yeah, since,
Right.
Well,
yeah, and that's kind of
featured on a 16-bit video game.
Well, and that's kind of been their problem throughout all these years since Sanders retired. They just haven't been able to find that franchise running back that they've been able to stick with. Reggie Bush obviously didn't work out for him. Joique Bell, yeah. They have Amir Abdullah who had some dazzling moments in preseason, but is he one that's going to be able to carry a workload? That's yet to be determined.
Well, that's been Detroit's problem since they invented the television.
True.
I just tried to make some, way back temporal reference. They still have Calvin Johnson. They still have Matt Stafford. That was where my gut was sitting.
Right.
So I just, boom, circled it.
Yeah,
I didn't circle it. I typed it.
I'm going to take
nicely typed. Well, not nicely typed it.
I'm going to take San Diego, though. I like Phillip Rivers.
You know what I do kind of like?
Go on.
I do like that over.
I like it as well.
Lots of points.
45.5 is the line. I'll take that over.
Yep.
Is that your Kramer impression?
No. I sort of burped.
It sounded like Kramer. Oh, yeah.
It was a weak burp.
Yeah. All right. How about this next fun game?
No.
What?
Don't
what?
even try and pretend like it's like ironic fun. It's kind of fun.
It actually is fun because
okay.
it's
I didn't know if you were acting like it was ironic fun.
It's the number 2 overall draft pick visiting the number 1 overall draft pick, and Tennessee at Tampa Bay. Tennessee at Tampa Bay.
It's like if you're at an optometrist appointment and they keep flipping back number 1, number 2, and then you go, they're kind of the same.
Yeah. So, Marcus Mariota with Tennessee visits Jameis Winston at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is -3.
I took Tampa only because I feel like they have more around them.
I agree.
For Jameis Winston.
I agree.
They do have better receivers. You've got the seasoned vet, Vince Jackson, Mike Evans, running back tandem that's, it's whatever.
Yeah. Doug Martin could
Tennessee and Mariota's throwing to Kendall Wright.
Yeah. Pretty much it's going to be Kendall Wright's going to have
and then you have Bishop Sankey.
Hefty. Yeah. Well, and they do now have Terrence West. They got him from the Browns. So he is now a Tennessee Titan. I'm not sure what his role is going to be, but I assume him and Sankey will be splitting carries because Sankey hasn't turned out to be quite the running back they were hoping for. But I'm going to go with Tampa as well at -3. Like you said, I think Winston has too many weapons, too much help around him to lose this game. How about that over under 41?
No.
No?
Under.
Think so?
Yeah.
Both defenses are pretty bad.
Yeah, but you've got 2 quarterbacks who've never started a professional game in their life.
Yeah, you're right. I'll take the under as well.
Yeah, it didn't take long to talk you into that, did it?
I was just being devil's advocate.
What a pushover. Speaking of pushovers, when Cincinnati travels to Oakland, plays in the O.Co Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Oh, Cincy's favored by 3.
There we go. I'll take Cincy.
Close the loop. Yeah, I'm taking Cincy too.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a big year out of Jeremy Hill. Big year. For fantasy purposes.
I just like to see him do well.
I picked him up last year when they brought him in, and he had himself quite a half season or so. And Cincinnati's offensive line. If you haven't noticed, I'm talking about offensive lines a lot. It's because I did some
spot.
Well, I did some research on those prior to my fantasy picks and tried to draft running backs or quarterbacks with solid offensive lines.
Ooh.
Just to see if, there's any merit to it. Dallas has pretty much the best offensive line projected this coming season. So feel like, there's Cowboy running backs and Romo's going to have time to throw. And anyway, I'm getting off track. But
that makes empirical sense.
My point is Cincinnati has a very good offensive line. And Jeremy Hill is a very good runner. He can power through, and then he can be explosive when he's in the flat. And I think that combination with a healthy A.J. Green is going to give Cincinnati a pretty solid start to the season against Oakland.
Oh, yes.
Although,
O.Co.
Amari Cooper will be exciting to watch in Oakland. I am excited to see him, but I don't think he can win the game by himself.
No.
All right. How about the over-under of 43.5? I assume you're taking Cincinnati as well, right? Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pencil that in.
All right. 43.5 over-under.
Ooh. Good question. Good question.
That's a tough line.
I know. I don't even know if the Bengals could, like, push it over.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say under.
Uh,
Under. Only because.
I'm gonna go over.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Cincinnati would be able to put up a bunch of points, and I think Oakland, even though Derek Carr's kind of, still struggling as a new quarterback.
No, but Oakland's usually good for a,
Yeah,
break one off
they
and a couple
they
of long scores.
they can surprise some people.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati's defense isn't fantastic. It's not bad, but it's not great. So I feel like I'm going to take the over. I think Oakland would be able to put up some points.
Well, I'm still sticking to the under.
Okay, you're allowed.
My decision.
I'll allow it. How about the next one? Baltimore at Denver. Denver's minus 4.5.
Only 4.5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know that Baltimore's going to score that many points. It's more like, can they limit Denver to not score
Right.
too many points?
I mean, Baltimore lost Torrey Smith. He was, their deep. They still have Steve Smith Sr.
Right, and he's on his farewell tour.
Exactly.
Do they do gifts? Like, is he going to go to every stadium and get gifts?
I was wondering about that too, because they do that for baseball.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's not going to go to every stadium. Maybe that's the reason, because they don't stop it everywhere.
Yeah, it could be
necessarily everywhere. So it's like, what am I going to get from Denver? I don't know.
Here's a horse. I don't know, because most football players announce their retirement after the season. There aren't many that say like, "Oh, this year is going to be my last year."
That's true. It's usually the result of an injury too. Oh, I got injured.
Yeah, that or nobody picks him up, or
yeah.
It's usually not.
or I hate being on a good team. Reggie,
I don't like having. Or it's not enough fun.
This is too easy.
Yeah.
I want a challenge.
I'm gonna take Denver.
He must have watched too much Vision Quest over the summer. Reggie Wayne. You took Denver? I took Denver.
All right. Denver at 4.5.
Well, that feels like a trap.
I know.
Trap game.
I mean, Baltimore's got a solid offense, and Justin Forsett proved to be a valuable running back last year. But Denver's defense has been upped and should be better than last year, and they were pretty solid last year.
Against the run, they were especially solid too.
Yeah, and even though Denver lost Julius Thomas, they picked up Owen Daniels, who has been playing for offensive coordinator Gary Kubiak for 10 years now. He's going to fit in their system very well. C.J. Anderson was, a running back that was taking leaps last year, and Peyton Manning's still Peyton Manning, and Emmanuel Sanders, I think he lead the league in yards or close to it, probably. I think it was between him and Antonio Brown. But I just think there's too many weapons on Denver for Baltimore to keep it close.
I am overwhelmed with information. I'm trying to find the answer to that.
Well, the internet will overwhelm me with information.
I know. Second to Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. Okay. So there you go.
Good recollection.
How about that over-under 49?
Over.
You think so?
Yeah, Denver's pretty good.
I'm going to go under.
A lot of points from them. Probably got a lot of points. A few points from
Baltimore. I don't know if... I think, again, this is kind of like one of those lopsided games where Denver puts up a lot and Baltimore doesn't put up as much.
It's probably going to be one of those where Denver gets a reasonable lead and then they just kind of start slipping.
Baltimore gets a garbage time.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm still taking the under.
Okay.
So that's that.
I ain't your papa.
That's
all the 4 o'clock games.
That is all the 4 o'clock games. You're right. Your favorite 4 o'clock?
Favorite?
Your surf and turf game of Sunday afternoon.
I kind of like Tennessee Tampa just because it's going to be the most interesting.
I can
It's
see
a big
that.
stage.
I'm kind of in the same boat though. That Detroit San Diego game is sticking out in my mind. I think.
Well, it's because they're both probably going to be near the top of the divisions at least.
Yeah.
So it's like the two Titans versus one Titan and one Tampa Bay Buccaneer. That's just kind of like, we're just.
Yeah.
It's like a showcase.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go Tennessee and Tampa for rookie quarterback purposes. There might be some very like unintentional funny moments that happen in that game. And I don't want to miss it.
I took Jameis Winston in the last round of my fantasy draft. I feel like that was a bargain.
Well, in both of my fantasy drafts, neither quarterback got drafted.
Really? Like nobody took a flyer on one of them?
No,
just in case?
No, because I mean we play in a league where you only start one quarterback, so everyone's got their number one guy, and then they usually try and draft a decent backup for their number one QB's bye week. So they're people don't really want to waste draft picks, even if it's a late one, on quarterbacks that are playing for Tennessee and Tampa Bay.
Well, no, but now there's also the strategy where you draft a lot of good quarterbacks and you almost employ sort of a matchup system where you try and exploit the best matchup of all your quarterbacks that you have. And then
then you start overthinking it, and
it's fantasy football.
Well, yeah, and that causes problems.
It's the thinking man's football.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's the couch sitting thinking man's football.
Exactly.
Pizza eating, couch sitting, armchair quarterbacking, apostrophe man's football.
What was one of the more surprising picks in your fantasy draft, if you recall?
The surprising.
Like you were like, oh wow, like either they were drafted super early or is someone you thought wasn't even going to get drafted got picked up?
I had a lot of those only because I had somebody I was zeroing in on, and then they got picked 2 picks before mine, and I said, oh crap, I didn't pay attention enough to pick the second or third person.
Who was that got picked up?
Oh, that happened probably 4 or 5 times.
Gotcha.
I didn't have a very good draft.
Well, the season hasn't started yet, so maybe it'll work in your favor.
Yeah, thanks, Secret Wars, for taking up all my time.
That's what you get for putting your time into Marvel.
I know. We all make mistakes.
All right, what's your vegan game of the 4 o'clocks?
Vegan. Probably Cincy, Oakland.
Yeah,
because it's going to be too lopsided.
Yep.
Too lopsided. But we do have a good main course on Sunday.
Yes, we do.
Sunday evening.
Division matchup. New York Giants.
Football Giants. The football Giants.
Not the
travel to Dallas.
Not the regular Giants, the football Giants.
No. I thought it was really weird in Bloodsport how the young Jean-Claude Van Damme had a San Francisco Giants hat and a New York Giants shirt. I thought, maybe he just likes Giants.
Yeah, that's probably what I would think.
Like I'm an intersport,
Well,
Giants fan.
He's got one giant on the West Coast, one giant on the East Coast. So just covering his bases.
I don't think that was it.
And then he can get a hat or a jersey from the who was it? Tokyo Giants from Major League 2.
Maybe it was just some intern that was on the set, and they said, "Yeah, just go get us some sports gear." And they thought, "Oh, Giants,
Yeah,
Giants."
They both cite Giants. Who cares if they're different colors?
Well, that's not going to happen to us when we get our intern.
Yeah,
and which you can apply by writing to Nick Hershey, care of the No Punt Intended podcast, or
your prerequisite is to know the difference between the New York Giants and the San Francisco Giants, and you need to be able to drive and go get coffee.
There will be a test.
Yes. All right. Dallas is -7. What do you think?
Your test, Mr. Nicholas, is who are you picking? I'm picking Dallas.
I'm gonna take Dallas as well.
Giants are too wishy-washy.
Yeah. They do have Odell Beckham Jr., which is good.
They don't have Justin Pierre-Paul, which is not good.
Right. And they also have a mishmash of running backs. They do have Shane Vereen, which will help their running back / receiving backs. But yeah, I mean Rashad Jennings and Shane Vereen. Andre Williams, who fumbles the ball a lot. I don't know. I just don't see it.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. Not with an offensive line. I'm sure you'll agree with me. Not with an offensive line as good as Dallas's.
Exactly.
So it's like, who cares who's running the ball?
Right.
You could have a cat run the ball.
Yeah. I mean, Joseph Randall, I think, is going to be the number one back until, Darren McFadden or Christine Michael knocks him out. But
DMC will take over.
I mean, you look at what DeMarco Murray did last year with that line. I mean, he had a fantastic year, got him a nice big contract in Philly, and even when Joseph Randall was in, he was putting up good numbers. So a lot of that's the offensive line creating holes and gaps for the backs to run through. So
holes and gaps, that's what their job.
And it gave Romo time to throw the ball, and he wasn't getting hit, and therefore he was able to not be injured, which is, always a plus. And I just don't see good things happening with the Giants offense. Victor Cruz is out for, I think, a couple weeks at least.
And you got Eli.
And and Eli, who is
Can you rely on Eli?
Tom Coughlin's hoping so because his job depends on it.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so we're both taking Dallas.
Dallas and over. It's going to be a shootout.
You're taking the over?
Yes.
51.5.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under.
See.
Wrong link. That 51.5 is a bit high in my book.
No, of the last 5 meetings, they've only failed to score 51 points once, and they scored 45.
Okay, I'm still going to take the under because I already said it.
Fine. I didn't pencil it in yet.
All right.
Well, speaking of DeMarco Murray, does he succeed in the Chip Kelly experiment?
Yes, I think he does. I don't think he gets as many.
By the way, precursor, we're talking about Philly at Atlanta.
Yes.
And Philly is favored by 3.
The first of 2 Monday night games this week. Yes, I think DeMarco Murray does play well in the Chip Kelly system. He's not going to get as many touches as he did last year in Dallas, partially because Chip's all about rotation, sharing the load. It'll keep DeMarco healthy going into hopefully the playoffs. They just don't want to overwork him. And Ryan Matthews, as the other guy sharing the ball, I think he'll be fine. Again, as long as he's healthy, and Eagles' offensive line is looking pretty good, so they can definitely get behind them. And then obviously you have Darren Sproles, who's basically a weapon no matter where he lines up.
Yeah, a lot of touches for DeMarco last year.
Yeah, what he had, like 400 something.
He had 392 rushes.
392 rushes, and that's just rushes. That's not counting screen passes or anything like that. So,
right.
I think with those he was up to like 450 or something. But, yeah, he got a lot of, and that's the big thing that people were concerned about when they brought him into Philly was that he was overworked last year. But I don't know. I think Chip Kelly's aware of that, and he kind of knows what his capabilities are.
I'm aware.
Oh, he's aware. All right, so I'm taking Philly at -3 after that's all said and done.
Yeah, I took Philly, but I don't know.
Atlanta's offense is going to be able to put up a lot of points in the air because of Julio Jones. Their running game is very questionable. They have Tevin Coleman and Dante Freeman, I think, are their 1 and 2 backs that are going to be splitting time. Their defenses are very good. I know that Dallas 51.5 kind of threw me off a little, but I'm going to take the over of this game of 55.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm taking under.
I think the Eagles' offense will be able to put up a ton of points, and I mean, like I said, Atlanta will be able to score points, maybe not so much running, but passing. The Eagles' secondary isn't fantastic, so Julio Jones might have himself a day, but
no, it'll get close, but Won't quite make it over the hump.
Well,
like maybe you'll get to 50.
What happened in their last meetings? Do you have that available?
Yeah, fully had some sort of repository
Some
2012, Atlanta defeated Philly 30-17. The game before that, it was 35-31. That was also 4 years ago.
Right. Last leap year.
That trend does not continue for Atlanta, Philadelphia.
Yeah. I think Philly is projected to score the most points per game this NFL season.
No, really?
I think so.
They got third last year.
Well, I think they're projected this year.
Who got the most
points per game?
Green Bay, Denver, Philly, New England, Dallas. Those were your ordered top 5
for last year. All right,
Green Bay deproved. Denver improved? Question mark. Philly improved. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's all speculation.
I thought I saw that somewhere that they were projected to be one of, all right, whatever, top 5 or whatever.
What I'm not speculating is the quality of the second Monday night game, which is, I don't know. It could have been better.
Yeah, but I'm kind of excited for this game.
Minnesota at San Fran. Minnesota is favored by 2.5.
On the road.
That's why I said
a lot of on the road favorites this week.
I said San Fran plus 2.5 because I feel like you're not going to go into not Candlestick Park and win.
Levi Stadium?
Sure.
That's what it is, Levi Stadium. That's where the Super Bowl will be this year.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Super Bowl 50. Not L.
Exactly.
50.
I'm pretty sure it's at Levi Stadium. I gotta type in location and then that'll tell me. Yeah, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California.
I forgot to type location.
I'm gonna take Minnesota.
Why?
I'm on the Teddy bandwagon.
Okay.
Adrian
Adrian
Peterson's back, so let's not forget that.
AP himself is worth some points, but I don't know that.
San Francisco's not going to be very good this year.
Well, we don't know that. We think that.
We can project.
They were terrible last year.
Yeah.
Or
they added Torrey Smith.
Terrible by their standards.
They have Carlos Hyde, who can be a solid running back to replace Frank Gore. I just don't have that much faith in Colin Kaepernick. I feel like he had his peak and now he's kind of wavering and hovering and slowly declining.
Well, plus they have a head coach who hasn't head coached since 2006 in NFL Europe.
Right. So would you put your faith in a coach that hasn't coached since NFL Europe in 2000, what'd you say, 6?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just
that was like 2 leap years ago.
It was, wait.
Roughly.
1, 2, well, sort of.
Yeah, I rounded.
I rounded.
I'm taking Minnesota. I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a great year. Charles Johnson at receiver. They have Mike Wallace at receiver now, and obviously Adrian Peterson. And Minnesota's defensive line is probably, might be one of the best in the league this year at getting pressure on the
defensive line.
Yes.
Usually your thing is offensive line.
I know. I'm throwing you a curveball here. I'm talking about defensive line.
It was a curve.
Yeah. I'm going to take Minnesota. I think they might put up a fight for the division with the Packers.
And Detroit.
I don't know about Detroit.
Well, let's take a look right now.
I think Detroit's defense isn't good enough, and they're going to rely too much on their passing game, which can be up and down with Stafford as the quarterback. So mark me down for Minnesota.
All right. The odds to win the NFC North are as follows.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay is obviously the favorite.
Right.
Then Minnesota. That's interesting.
Oh, interesting.
A very close third place is Detroit.
And then the lowly Bears.
They're hibernating in last.
What is Detroit's odds for the division?
Bears jokes. Green Bay is minus 220. Detroit is plus 450. Minnesota is plus 425.
Interesting.
So you can either risk $1 to win $4.25 with Minnesota, or you could risk $1 to win $4.50 with Detroit.
Tough call.
If you bet $1 million,
All right.
no, you can't do that. There's a max bet.
I'm not
Pussies.
Floyd Mayweather.
I know, but you should be able to at least bet that.
Yeah.
Pussies.
All right, so you're taking San Francisco. I'm taking Minnesota. Over under 41.5.
Ooh, I'd say over.
I'm going to say over as well.
A lot of possibilities.
Yeah. I agree. I think this is like a 28-23 type game.
Yep.
Which
I'm in that boat.
if my math is correct, is over 41.5 total points. But I'll let you figure it out because you're the numbers guy.
No. Off the clock.
All right. And there's no buys this week because it's week 1, so everybody plays.
I made sure to note none.
All right, so you got all of our picks typed in the system?
Locked
and loaded? All right. Yeah, so that will wrap up our picks for week 1. Again, the season starts this Thursday, which hopefully this podcast will be available before Thursday night's game, which is, again, Pittsburgh at New England. So be sure to check that out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And let's see.
Get your pizza, get your Dr. Thunder, get your shortbread fudge cookies, get your Juji fruits.
Throw away your candy corn.
Throw away the candy corn. It's not even October yet. You're jumping the gun.
Well, I can never be too early to discourage candy corn use.
Candy corn awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll do it for our picks this week. Justin, you mentioned Secret Wars earlier, so surely you must be aware of some comics that are coming out this week.
Batman.
Ooh, yeah, I'm picking that one up.
That's going to be a big one.
There's
there's new Star Wars.
There is. I believe this is the one where you find out why C-3PO has a red arm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're setting the table for stuff for Episode 7, so if you're getting antsy to, for things related to Episode 7, like you were in the toy line at 2:30 a.m. last Friday.
We should ask Matt about that. He told me how much he spent on Force Friday, and although I'm not surprised he spent what he spent, but it's still a surprising number.
Yeah, but does that come out of his Funko budget? And it's like, what if they come out with Star Wars Force Awakens Funkos?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But he did get one of those BB-8 sphere toys. That's
pretty cool.
Yeah, he was showing me the video. I was like, all right, that's kind of neat. But yeah.
Even Nick's like,
yeah,
that's kind of
all right. I'm kind of down for that. But yeah, speaking of Star Wars, there's been a lot of new photos, trailers, stuff like that that's been coming out to promote the new film coming out in December. So be sure to check us out on entertainmentbuddha.com. Yeah, and if you're in the UK listening to this, you will get to see Star Wars The Force Awakens a day before everybody here in the US.
100 days.
What? Oh.
It's 100 days.
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you mean 100 days? But The
What are you
Force
talking about?
The Force Awakens opens in the UK on December 17th. And here in the US it's on December 18th.
So be sure to stay away from the internet in the waning hours between December 17th
yes.
and December 18th.
Or if you're traveling for business and happen to be in the UK, just go grab yourself a ticket and catch it early. There you go. Yeah, Justin, anything else you want to add?
I think that's it.
Actually, yeah, follow us on Twitter at NoPuntsIn, the number 10 DED. And as we mentioned throughout various times in the podcast, use hashtag AskNoPunt regarding football, food, or any topic, really. It doesn't matter. Any topic. Yeah.
This week's topics could be what kind of pizza you're getting for the opening night.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know. I will field suggestions.
Or what's the most elaborate food someone is making in honor of football season opening?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some creative ideas for that. So, and then I'd like you to send me a sample.
And you can send that sample to Nick Hershey, care of No Punt Intended Podcast, P.O. Box 1234, or use the Ask No Punt hashtag on Twitter.
There you go. It's as simple
Do they
as
have
that.
hashtags on Instagram, or is that not a
Yes,
thing?
they do. They
Oh, okay.
they
Or
certainly
Instagram.
do.
Whatever. All of your favorite social media outlets.
Whatever your choice is.
Yes, I'm not going to limit you to just one.
All right. So again, follow us, check us out on entertainmentbuddha.com, where we make you a better geek one post at a time. Justin, take us out.
Juji Fruits. No, wait. Shut it down. Shut it down, eat Juji Fruits.